Hi, welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you've been here before. My name is Debbie Mediotti. I'm a licensed psychotherapist and women's empowerment coach. And I've started this series where I am going through each of the major arcana of the tarot because it's one of the modalities that I use in my work, the tarot. And it's a great tool for self empowerment, self awareness, depth of insight into self. So today we're focused on card 7, the Chariot. So, excuse him. So first and foremost, I'll ask you to just find your seat and settle in. Take a nice deep breath. Exhale. And just take a look at the card and see what pops out to you. There's so much imagery on every card, right? So it takes some time to sit with and really absorb everything. And the way to develop your intuition is to begin to start to look at the cards and see what comes up for you. What do the colors bring up for you? The imagery, the symbols. We can see that he has a breastplate. He's got a wand pointing downward at the two sphinxes. We can see that there's a black and a white sphinx, yin and yang, balance points. He's got crescent moons on his shoulder plates and stars on the veil behind him and above him. But if we also look, we notice that the chariot itself, the structure in which he's sitting in, is wooden. Well, the wheels are wooden. It looks as though the base that he's actually standing in is more concrete or some immovable force, right? Immovable structure. So the Chariot is the card of Cancer. So what do we know about Cancer? It's a water sign, a cardinal sign, quite comfortable if it's vibing high, quite comfortable in the depths of water, emotional states. When not vibing high, can be quite emotional, almost to the point of maybe a bit of instability sometimes, right? Also, what we know about Cancer is that home and family is very important. Tradition is very important. Sentimentality is usually present, as well as an outer crab shell, if you will. So a Cancer person can be someone who's very soft internally once you get to know them, but their initial sort of presentation to the world can be a little bit boundaried. And that's often because Cancers are quite psychic, and they can pick up on the energy of others. And so in order to maintain their own health, they need these boundaries because they do absorb the energetic climate or the energetic field around other people, right? So having a bit of a crab shell, having some sort of boundary is really important for Cancer in order to sort of come back to themselves and not be overwhelmed by the energy of others. So let's say that you've pulled the Chariot because it speaks to you and you want to use it on your altar as a card of inspiration or guidance over a period of time. Or you came to your cards for a particular question and the card that popped out for you is the Chariot. So what does it mean? So first and foremost, when the Chariot comes in any sort of reading, it's a card of success. Success by your own will. right? So, meaning, what do I mean by that? That means that you have worked really hard and sort of put yourself out there assertively, hopefully, rather than aggressively, but it can also mean some aggression. But you've put yourself out there, you've worked really hard, you've done all of the things, and you've reached a place of success. It's a card of victory. If you're asking a question of your cards and the Chariot, depending on the other cards that are surrounding it, and the Chariot comes out, it's a yes. You can take it as an affirmative, a positive. Okay. The other thing about the Chariot to know is that it is a card of success, but it's also, its message is around the fact that you've gone as far as you're going to go in that with that particular situation, that particular victory, that particular goal. Because if you look, he's in a pretty clunky contraption. Things with wooden wheels don't flow smoothly. Concrete enclosures don't tend to be very fluid. They don't move very well. So while you've reached a victory, absolutely, and that requires some celebration and some acknowledgement on your part, it's also important to know that you will not be able to utilize your particular vehicle for success to move further. So what do I mean by that? Let's say that you're in a particular job and you worked really hard because you wanted a promotion. You wanted to go to a higher level position, a position of leadership. And you got there. You're there. Congratulations. But the Chariot is letting you know that there is no further from here around this particular position or this particular set of tools that you use to get there or your particular current set of resources. So if you want to go further, you're going to need a course, a new certification, a different job, a different networking, community in which you network in. Basically, what it's saying is that you're going to need to swim in a larger pool if you want to go further. If you don't want to go further, great, you're exactly where you wanted to be and you're there. But if you ask the question, am I going to get the promotion? And the Chariot pops out, yes. Am I going to be able to move further from this leadership position? Probably not. You're going to need some different tools, as I said. So when the Chariot pops out, let's say that you are already in a position where you wanted to be, and the Chariot pops out, then you may need to ask yourself, okay, what's next for me? Where do I want to go next? And what tools might I need to get me there? Do I need some further schooling, some further resources, some further certifications, what else might I need? Because I've ridden this particular vehicle, this particular victory, as far as I can go. Right? So you want to sit with yourself. There's a lot of astrological symbology on the card. There's a lot of indications of balance being important. So, some things you may want to ask yourself are, am I in alignment? And if you've been watching this series, you'll know that this comes up a lot, right? Major Arcana cards are really seeking our internal and our external spaces, our internal and external worlds, to find out if we are in alignment. Are you in balance? Do you have too much of a good thing? And maybe you need to balance that out in order to move forward with something. Or maybe you have gone as far as you're going to go in this particular direction, and you're going to change directions entirely. Perhaps you've gotten a leadership role at your job, and now you want to be an entrepreneur. So the tools that got you the leadership position, while valuable, and likely you will need them, they probably are not going to get you fully into your self-employed entrepreneurial role. Okay. So you want to look at the whole picture when the Chariot comes up. And you want to realize that, yes, you have reached a certain level of success and victory. Where do you want to go next? Because depending on where you want to go next, that can help determine how you're going to get there, right? So just some things to think about as the Chariot, if the Chariot pops up. Okay. I hope that that was helpful. Any comments, please put in the comment box below. I will provide all of my information if you'd like to contact me or work with me in the description box below. And I'd love to engage with any comments, questions. That would be great. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'll see you again soon.